Hey there, Marguerita here from PitBull Coaching, and today we are talking about that naughty little four-letter F word, fear, also referred to as false evidence appearing real. So let's talk about what is fear. So fear is this insidious little creature that will sneak in. It will steal your dreams. It will determine your destiny. It will crush your spirit. It will rule your world. And it will own you if you let it. Fear is, there's a saying, there is nothing to fear except fear itself. Fear is just your projection of something bad happening, of you getting hurt in some way, shape, or form. So let's look at the 7 fears, because once you understand this terrain, once you know how to overcome fear, all of a sudden you are in control of your destiny. Do you want to be in control of your destiny, or do you want external forces and actually this little supercomputer to be wired in such a way that it undermines your ability to achieve your goals and dreams, that it sabotages your success? I'm pretty sure you don't want that. So let's look at fear so you can understand fear and put it back in its place, back where it belongs, because it does not belong front and center at leading the way toward where you're going. Because if you allow fear to be in charge of your outcomes, then guess what? They're gonna suck. Basically, your outcomes will suck if you allow fear to control the ultimate destination. It's just not the way this life works. So you must take control over your emotional state and put fear back where it belongs, way back there somewhere. It does not belong up in front driving the train. We don't want that. Definitely not. So you've got to master this. This is critical. This is key. So what are the 7 primary fears that will shut you down from being able to achieve your vision, your goals, your dreams, and live the best life possible? So number 1 is a fear of change. Now, we all have a fear of change, because the fear of change is the fear of the unknown. The subconscious mind is naturally suspicious about the unknown. It's like it's better the devil we know than the devil we don't. Even if our lives aren't working the way we want them to, it's kind of like, yeah, but what if it's worse? What if actually going for my goals and dreams doesn't end up the way that I want it? What if I fail? What if? It's this catastrophizing that happens in the subconscious, and this projection about what might happen with the fear of change. So fear of change is 1. And you can overcome all of these, by the way. Now, if you don't know me, then very shortly I will share with you my favorite tool of transformation to be able to actually not eliminate fear, but make sure that it's not in the driver's seat. So fear of change is number 1. Fear of failure is another. I don't think I have to explain that one. Failure can be very, very painful. But the thing is, the stigma around failure is nonsense. The stigma around failure is just a conditioning. And you need to let go of that conditioning, because failure is just feedback. There is nothing wrong with failure. In actual fact, it is an inevitable part of the process of you achieving success. So fear of failure, let's just get rid of that one right now, because the only failure is the failure to participate, period. And if you are failing, then you're trying, then you're giving it a crack, and you need a big pat on the back for that. Okay? And what a lot of people do is they fail a couple of times and they go, oh, I failed. It's too hard. I can't do it. I'm a failure. This whole thing that if you fail, you're a failure. BS, mate. You need to let go of that right now. Failing means nothing about you. Nothing can define you, including failure. Failure says nothing about you except that you're in the game. Like if you have 2 teams on a playing field, you're going to have a winner and you're going to have a loser. But if you don't get on the field, how can you ever give yourself a chance to win? And you know that in any sport, there are multiple tournaments or games that are played to determine the ultimate champion, okay? Because you will fail sometimes. Maybe there is a time in history when throughout a season there has been an undefeated team, but it's rare. You got to get on the field. You got to be willing to fail, and from every failure you will learn more than you will from every success. Speaking of which, great segue. There is also the fear of success. Now, it's like, wait, what? Fear of success? How is that a thing? Well, sometimes success can be painful. Sometimes, like in my experience, when I was at school, as a very young girl, I started school 5, 6, 7, and I was primed for school. My brain loved school. It loved the learning. It thrived in that environment. And I was top of the class. Now, the other kids in my class didn't really like that. So they didn't really like me. So I was their target. And all of a sudden, standing out and being successful became really, really painful. I didn't understand it at the time. I still don't understand it now. It just was what it was. I was bullied relentlessly at school, and that made me retreat. And it meant that I didn't focus on my schoolwork. It meant that subconsciously I became determined to be average. I was no longer an exceptional student. I became an average student, and I was an average student throughout the rest of my school days. Didn't understand why, but that's the way my subconscious worked. In order to keep me safe, it went, whoa, okay, success is not good. Now, this actually dominated my world, believe it or not, for decades afterwards, a few decades, until I figured out what the F was going on up here and why I just couldn't seem to get out of my own way. It's very frustrating, let me tell you. And when I realized, I hadn't even remembered what had gone on at school. But when I knew something was going on and I started to dig and dig and dig and dig and dig, I went, oh, and do you know that bullying, I have had to work so much on that bullying because it has raised its head many, many, many times. And I'll work on an aspect of it and I'll get rid of that aspect of it. And then a while later, it'll raise its head again. This is the process. I hate to break it to you, but this is why the internal work and doing this work just constantly, it's absolutely essential. Because if you don't, you are doomed to stay stuck right where you are forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. And I'm sure you don't want that. So we've got fear of change, fear of failure, fear of success. Fear of rejection, judgment, and criticism. This is a big one. And humiliation. So fear of rejection, judgment, criticism, and humiliation. Huge. None of us like to be rejected or humiliated. That was me being bullied. And from that point forward, I had a huge fear, as well as fear of success. I had a huge fear of rejection, judgment, and criticism, and humiliation. And this can be just so dominant in our lives, and we retreat and we hide. We never try to excel because we're so afraid of the pain. The pain is what we decide we are going to avoid. Well, maybe instead of trying to avoid the pain, you actually let go of the emotional response. Because, yes, rejection, judgment, and humiliation can be painful, but if you allow that to rule your world, instead of using processes and techniques to release your emotional attachment to that, then it's going to be a very rough ride, and you're going to die with your song inside. You're going to die never fulfilling your dreams, and I don't want that for you. I want you to fulfill every dream you have, or at least not every dream, maybe at least a really good percentage of them, because I don't know about you, but I got lots of dreams. I don't have enough years left in me to achieve all my dreams, but I'm going to give it a damn good crack, and you should too. So there's fear of rejection, judgment, and criticism. That is a big one. There is a fear of loss. Okay, so fear of loss could be that, geez, if I'm wealthy and successful, I'll lose friends and family. Or maybe you're afraid to go all in because you might lose what you already have, and that's too much of a risk. here's the thing. You've got to let go of your emotional attachment to what you have now if you want to progress. Because your attachment to what is going to stop you from creating a new life, a new existence, of being able to create more in your life. If you're too attached to what is, you've got to let go of your emotional attachment to what is. And maybe some of the stuff that you already have you can let that go, because when you let that go, you invite more stuff into your world. If your life is absolutely full and there's no room for anything else, how can you bring more stuff in? How can you bring better stuff in? Okay, so fear of loss can be lots of different things, and that's a really big one. Okay, so fear number 6 is fear of negative consequences, and this is absolutely massive. So it's that little voice in your subconscious mind that goes, oh, if I do this, what if that happens? What if something bad happens? And this insidious little fear will work away in the background, catastrophizing, going, oh, don't do that. Don't do that. Something bad might happen. Don't get out of your comfort zone. Don't try something new. What if it all goes wrong? So the fear of negative consequences is a really big one that keeps so many people stuck. But here's the thing. Shit happens. Shit will happen whether you go all in or whether you don't. That is the nature of life. And if you are not seeking new challenges, they will seek you, because your soul yearns for growth and development and new experiences. Your soul does that. So if you are not choosing your challenges, they will choose you, and they won't be anywhere near as fun as the challenges you choose for yourself. So choose your challenges, choose them wisely, and let go of your fear of negative consequences. This is also a little bit like the fear of change and the fear of the unknown. But it's really important that you think about, okay, what am I catastrophizing about? What am I really afraid of? This is a really good question. Why am I procrastinating? Why am I not going all in? Why am I stuck in my current place? What am I really afraid of? That is a really powerful question. Once you figure that out, you can overcome it, right? You can release it. You can actually become a master of your outcomes, a master of your destiny. When you master your fears and they're no longer in the driver's seat, you become a master of your life. And that means you are mastering your mindset. Seriously, this thing is your best and most valuable asset that you can have. Work on this relentlessly to make it your friend and partner in achieving your success. So fear of negative consequences is a big one. And the last one is fear that you're not good enough. You're not good enough and you don't deserve it. So if that is a part of your psychology, which, let's face it, we all have that to a certain extent, then you need to release that. You need to let it go. You need to know that you are worthy, that you do deserve it. You are worthy and deserving of achieving anything that your heart desires. So they're the 7 fears. Fear of change, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of loss, fear of rejection, judgment and criticism, fear of negative consequences, and fear that you're not good enough. Now, do you want to know the number one way to actually release your emotional attachment to all those fears and stop them from actually destroying your life and sabotaging your success? You got it. It's this sucker. It's tapping. So there are many really powerful techniques out there that will help you to take control of your mindset and your life. The reason I love EFT tapping is because it is powerful, it is fast, it is so simple. You can do it yourself. You don't need a facilitator or somebody to work with. Although I will say that quite often the fears that you have are kind of hidden from you, and the real work, the real power of working with a practitioner or a coach is that they will help you to find those fears, doubts and blocks, help you to clear them or overcome them, or have strategies to be able to accelerate your progress. And that is what I do. So that is when I work with my clients, I help them to clear out these fears, doubts, limiting beliefs, and blocks that are stopping them from moving forward, so they can get on the fast track to becoming the best and most powerful version of themselves and achieving their greatest, grandest visions of being the greatest version of them who is capable of achieving absolutely anything. And if you want to be unstoppable, then I can certainly help you at bringing your dreams to life and doing it super, super fast. So there's multiple ways that you can access me and what I do. So if you'd like to know more, then if you're an entrepreneur, then you can, and you'd like to work with me personally, and you'd like to know about any of my coaching programs, then book a strategy call with me. It's free. I will help you to create a strategy to get from where you are to where you want to be super fast. And then we can talk about my coaching programs and how I can work with you to implement those strategies. And if we're a good fit, then baby, LFG, let's go. If that doesn't float your boat and get you excited, then you can always check out the Conscious Wealth Revolution, which is a powerful interactive platform where you get access to exclusive content that will help to transform your life, and you get to work with me each month where I work live on calls with people on the call to clear out limiting beliefs, fears, and doubts, and you get access to the recordings of those as well. So whichever, I hope to see you soon, either on a strategy call or in the Conscious Wealth Revolution. And you can get the Conscious Wealth Revolution at the address that is on your screen right now. I look forward to seeing you in another video very soon. Back yourself, go all in, do the internal work, get rid of that insidious FEAR, false evidence appearing real. The only thing to fear is fear itself. Crush that sucker, own your mindset, master it, and your success is inevitable. I'll see you in another video soon. Ciao for now.